Ambassador Haley, great to see you again,
Nice
and great to see you last Saturday in Carver Hawkeye Arena watching the Iowa Hawkeye win the
So much
basketball.
fun. So much fun.
And bonus time with Ambassador Branstad.
Yes.
So my question for you tonight to wrap this up is, as president, how will you work to better unite America after the past 16 years of such divisive politics? Thank you.
It's a great question. And the tone at the top matters, right? You know, when I talked about how we could have been completely devastated in South Carolina with the shooting of Walter Scott, how we could have been completely devastated in South Carolina with the murder of those 9 amazing souls at Mother Emanuel Church, how we could have been divided on so many other things, South Carolina always held strong and held together. And it was because I knew I served and represented all of them, not just a select group, all of them. And that means I didn't think of any of the South Carolina as good or as bad or as right or as wrong. I just knew I needed to over-communicate, tell them everything I knew, and that's how I'll be as a president. You'll know more than you want to know, because I think it's important that you know everything, and then tell you about where we go and move forward. But more than that, on my first day, you start by controlling what you can control first, and that is I will focus on my agencies. We'll replace the head of every agency, whether they're doing a good job or not, to freshen it up. I did this as governor. The second thing I did was I sent people into every agency to clean it up, pull down old programs, pull down any old regs, pull down bureaucracy, get it working again, and mission focus so that it's not too big. In some cases, and get rid of problem children. Trust me, agencies have problem children. In some cases, we tweaked agencies. In other cases, we gutted agencies. And then I required them to start doing 90-day benchmarks. I wanted them to show a return on investment to the taxpayer so that they saw what it was like to work again. And then we saw that they were spending money because they thought they weren't going to get the same amount the next year. So I put all the spending online for every taxpayer to see. And then I incentivized them to give money back to the taxpayers. And magic happened, because they started to compete to see who could be the most effective and most efficient. And then I went to my legislature and said, it's your turn. And I started by giving them a couple of things that were easy so they could remember what it was like to win again. We need to do that with our Congress. They need to know what it's like to win again together. And then you give them things that are harder and harder. That's important. We have to get government used to producing and giving results again. And I'll do it by starting with myself and starting with our agencies and getting them to work for the people again. And then going to Congress and saying, you know what? No more peacocking on TV. No more sitting there and pointing fingers to anybody else. The buck starts here, and it's time to get things done for the American people. And it's an amazing thing. I have called out Republicans. I've called out Democrats. I've praised Republicans. I've praised Democrats. Legislators love to be praised, and they hate to be called out. It's a magic tool that has always worked for me. Whether I was calling out China or Russia at the UN, they didn't like to be called out. No one does. But when you do it for the right reasons and you know who you serve, that's when you get things moving again.
All right. Well, Governor Haley, thank you so much for being here in this room and, of course, speaking to the voters here in Iowa. Thanks so much to all of you for sitting here through this evening and being part of these town halls. And thank you so much to our hosts at Grandview University. Governors Haley and DeSantis, of course, are going to be back for the final Republican primary debate before the Iowa caucuses. Jake Tapper and Dana Bash will host right here on CNN January 10th at 9. And right now, Abby Phillip and Laura Coates will take it away.
It's our special 2-hour coverage of tonight's CNN Republican presidential town halls.